Okay, Assalamualaikum. Today we're going to have a lecture on client-centered group. So in occupational therapy, especially our intervention, working in group is very important, and a lot of evidence in terms of the process, the intervention, all that under this working in group. So law et al. They come up with this client-centered group. Yeah. So we all know that even our approach, um, we have client-centered approach, and in our intervention also, we consider client-centered practice as our niche area that be recognized in our OT profession. So when talk about the client-centered practice, Crick, Jennifer Crick, in 2003, say that a partnership is a partnership between therapist and client. Is a partnership between therapist and client. Hang on, I masukkan dulu peserta ni, dia tak masuk lagi. The partnership between therapist and client, with the client actively participates in negotiating goals for intervention and making decisions. And the therapist adapts the intervention to meet client needs. This is from Jennifer Crick, where therapists work together and we negotiate the goal for intervention. And making decision. So this is the way, the process of OT do in client-centered group for our intervention. So it's a collaborative member setting goals and priority. So in this group, members have to set goals and priorities. So when they have goals, then they go for which they want to go first. So they call it collaborative, collaboration between members. So a lot of theory that I'm going to present to you all in this lecture. And of course, what is OT used for groups? So for group intervention, actually, OT do assessment and intervention. So when we conduct a group, is a way we assess them and we do intervention. So OT have to observe and very sensitive in assessing the group member when they work in group. So become our intervention. So what are the things that we assess? We assess in terms of their communication, their interaction, and also their relationship to other members. So in this working group, we are able to know whether we have to assess whether the client actively interact, actively communicate, and how they consider their relationship with other members. So we assess them. And then we have also looking at their goals and also area life roles. Area life roles means that probably the members become a father of the family. These they play their roles. Area life role, become a housewife, become children for the parents, or they are play roles as working members, working in team. So we assess them. We looking at their roles. And in a group also, we try to motivate them to change. We motivate positive change. We want to change their motivation in a positive way. So some of the group members, before they coming to the when we join for group intervention, they have low motivation. So we want to motivate them to positive change, which with the advice or the support from the group members. And then in this group intervention also, we have this self-awareness. Self-awareness, they aware of themselves. They also understand of themselves. They also improve their self-efficacy through mutual group feedback. So in this group intervention, group member will try to give awareness, to give understanding, and then to improve members' efficacy, self-efficacy through the group intervention. So when talk about the therapeutic group facilitation, COLS provide 7 steps. Provide 7 steps when dealing with this therapeutic group facilitation. So the first step is introduction. So when you are having conduct a group intervention, you have to the first thing is to know the name of your members, stating the name. So you're going to conduct a warm-up activity. Warm-up activity, some of you come up with the, for example, picture of facial expression of sad, happiness. This is warm-up activity that you can do. Different technique also can be done. For example, singing together. So this is a warm-up activity that you can done in a group. And then setting the mood. Very important. Setting the mood. Setting the mood is that you're going to initiate the mood of this group. Some of the members, they don't know or they have anxiety between them. So you want to set the mood. Set the mood is, for example, you want to reduce the anxiety of the group members. For example, you want to have the mood of active listening, for example. So, for example, you want to come up with mood of enjoying discuss with the group. So you're going to set the mood in your group at the introduction. And then you need to explain the purpose clearly. This is very important. At the beginning, you want to explain why you want to conduct this group session. Some of the, for example, like psycho education group. The purpose is to educate the group members regarding the pros and cons of this the theme of the activity. So you need to explain at the beginning in introduction. You must explain the purpose clearly. For example, you conduct the group. For example, like you conduct a group of role play and drama. So what is the purpose you conduct role play and drama, for example? So for example, the purpose is to make awareness of the appropriate behavior among group members. This is the purpose. And then brief outline of the session. So what throughout the session, what are you going to do? First, at the beginning, you said you want to uh, you want to make you want to conduct role play and drama. The first is to act. What, for example, this is a free role drama. So you want them to express in this role play and drama what are their mind and thinking for the actor or actress that they're going to play. This is, for example, free what you want to do, what you want to behave or what action you want to do. So you brief. Then second round, therapist is going to highlight what are the positive and negative behavior they should do. The third part, you're going to ask, they're going to demonstrate, they're going to feel the positive behavior they should do while play or act as a role as an actor, for example, like that. So you have to brief the outline of the session. So this is the introduction for the core 7 step of therapeutic group facilitation. So in your role play or, for example, your activity, it can be done 10 to 20 minutes, for example. You can done also 30 to 40 minutes. If you got enough raw material to sustain some of the activity, you can done more than 30 or 40 minutes. For example, like you did cooking, baking. The thing only about 10-20 minutes. But you want to make the thing longer, you must have raw material to sustain it. For example, baking a cake, but there is a decoration. But you must have the raw material to sustain. Then in the activity, you're going to have activity analysis. You want to analyze the activity between the group members and also activity synthesis. Activity synthesis. You synthesize the activity. So depend on the activity. Some of the activity can be 1 hour. And remember, your activity must have therapeutic goals for the activity. Very important, when you conduct the activity, you need to look at also the members of their physical and mental capacities. Some of the group members, for example, like chronic schizophrenia, they have issue of positive symptom, and then they have also have low IQ, mental retarded schizophrenia. So some of the activity not stable for them. For example, you want to involve dancing activity. Some of them using wheelchair, some of them they have problem of follow the rhythm of the music. So it depends on the. So when you plan your activity, you need to consider your physical and mental capacity of your client. So the third one, sharing. This is very important to share. So when, for example, you conduct activity that involve sharing experience, so everyone have a turn, have a turn. Don't only one involve their sharing their experience. So you have give ample time for everyone to share their experience. So this is important sharing. Sharing, there must be a step that everyone have opportunity to take turn. Uh, eh? For example, some of the group members of probably have verbal communication. So you have to be patient, and group member have to be patient for the group member who have a non-verbal communication to express their feeling or their ideas. So everyone have to uh, experience the activities that you done. And then processing. So as an OT, you are able to process discussion of feelings. So you need to initiate some of your client, some of your patients, for example, they have problem to discuss their feeling. So you must have a technique how to let them through or discuss their feelings. I will show you the video of that I took from Hospital Pemai, where some of the patients have difficult to discuss their feelings. So as an OT, you are able to generate discussion of feelings and asking using open-ended questions. What is open-ended question? Anyone? For example, uh, you tak boleh, kalau for example like close-ended question, the answer is yes or no. For example, you dah makan, dia cakap dah ke belum? So, for example, you want to ask open-ended question macam mana? Macam mana rasanya makan tengah hari tadi? So, dia akan explain. It's not a ended question, yes or no, but they will explain more. So, when you come out with a question in the processing, come with open-ended question. For example, what's your feeling when involved in the activity? So this person have to express their feeling. Jangan tanya soalan how you feel. How you feel tu is open. Do you happy or not with this activity? Do you happy or not with this activity? Sure, they answer either yes or no. That one ended question, close-ended question. So when you want to make them talk, you have to ask open-ended questions. Generalizing. Abstract reasoning to derive a few general principles from the data of group activity. So some of the activity you need to derive, you need to come up with the abstract reasoning, and then facilitate generalizing by asking open-ended questionnaire. For example, like For example, like you conduct a role play and drama, kan? So you, for example, like you want them to come up with a positive behavior, for example, avoid negative behavior. For example, ada grup yang itu kata, boleh tak sebagai seorang anak, macam mana nak bercakap dengan ibu. So untuk bercakap dengan ibu supaya ibu tak terasa, for example. So this is the way to derive a general principle from the data of group activity. You come out with the abstract reasoning. And then facilitate generalized by asking open-ended questions. Sebagai seorang anak, bagaimana awak react supaya ibu awak tidak melenting, tidak marah bila bercakap dengan awak. For example like that. So you come out with something, you bagi reason untuk dia berfikir. So generalizing. And then application. Need to understand how has been learned apply on own life. So whenever you conduct the activity, you must at the end you must apply it. Make the thing useful for the members dalam group itu, apply at their own lives. Need to understand how has been learned, apply own lives. Tak ada sampai kalau you buat aktiviti role play ke drama ke aktiviti memasak ke berkebun ke dan sebagainya. At the end, how it going to be applied in their real lives, their own lives. And then ask discussion question that enable connection. So kalau you katakan nak tanya soalan, mesti ada connection dengan apa yang dia train tadi. Each member try to interpret group experience. So dalam discussion tu, group akan ceritakan experience dia bila handle ni, and then group member yang lain try to interpret. Masa you buat conduct activity, for example role play, terapis saja yang bercakap kan. Kalau boleh, group member also try to interpret. So involve with the group members also. Then make sure every member contribute discussion. So at the end, so make sure every member. So for example, you highlight the negative reaction they done in their role play. So members lain pun kena contribute juga. And then very important, assigning homework or keeping journal reinforced in application. For example, like doing physical activity, physical exercise activity. So they have, when they want to apply it, they have a diary. Diary to reinforce the application. For example, you discuss about how to behave when discuss with the parent dan sebagainya. So bila dia balik, dia kena at least bagi note dalam diary, dalam journalnya. When talk about journal, dalam diary dia lah, dalam diary dia. So whenever you come up with technique or solution, problem solving, So they have to keep it in their journal or their diary. So when you finish your session, you need to summarize. Summarize, review the highlight of 7 steps, and then you need to reinforce the main principle learned. So what are the things that from your activity in group 2, what are the things that been learned? You reinforce back. And then you should always end by thanking members for participating and sharing their own positive feedback. You should always end by thanking members for participating and sharing their own positive feedback. And then plan for next session. Some of you, when they finish their activity, they plan for the next session. So the next session is what you're going to do. Right? And reminded application as a final note. So whatever you want to create, for example, positive behavior, remind them to apply it. This is very important to have a good outcome. So whenever you come up with a group intervention, client-centered group, the important the application. So at the end of the session, you need to remind them to apply whatever they have been gone through in a group intervention to apply it at their own lives or their real situation. So this is the 7th step of the goals, goal 7 step of therapeutic group facilitation. So this is the, when you're using this goals 7 step, this is the outline. The title of group, title of sessions, the number in sequence. For example, session 3 of 8, 7, goals, address, time frame, supplies, list and include number needed, descriptions. This is the warm-up activity instruction, processing question, generalized questions, application question, and points for summary. So this, when using this goals 7 step, this is the thing that you have to have in the group session outline. So I will show to you the activity of group activity that been done in Ostapamal together with the students. You see there is a 3 case here with 3 students. Actually, if you are skillful, you experience already conduct in group, you can conduct alone. But for the student, this is the first experience they did. They conduct in three of them. So there is 3 patients here. Some of the one patient bipolar disorder. The green shirt tu is a schizophrenia, and then this one a manic depression case. Dengar tak semua?
Saya dah kerja 9 jam. Sementara saya kerja luar. Ganti Ostapamal dulu habis sekolah.
So this is the introduction. They get to know their name, their previous occupation. So the group member have to introduce themselves. This is second part.
Ini ya Pak? Apa? Halaman. Saya tadi wan. Nih. Mimi. Oke. Zaida. Oke. Cuman. Ini wan apa? Wan. Saya.
Okay, group. This is the way they introduce themselves kan? In the introduction. Kalau you tengok sini, some of the group members are very difficult to dia punya cognitive level, cognitive function very low. They can't remember. So we need to recall, initiate banyak kali.
Mimi. Zaida. Oke. Cuman. Ini wan apa? Wan. Saya.
Okay, this session of introduction. So this is a warm-up session you can conduct with the group.
Dapat duit, saya pergi sini.
Jadi kalau dia apa? Rumah.
Dia cikgu kan ini.
Kira macam tadi. Kira berapa? Lama kita kemarin.
Cuba nyanyi. Tari, biarlah wajah kekasih hati. Aku masih di sini. Kita yang
So masa sesi perkenalan warm up, you tengok apa kadang-kadang patient ni you tengok kadang-kadang apa diri dia tu kan, dia tak ada eye contact, dia punya mood apa ni labile mood, labile mood dia tak ada tunjuk reaksi, tapi dia punya cognitive intact, sebab bila you initiate patient ni untuk menyanyi dan sebagainya, dia boleh. You tengok sekali lagi video ni.
dapat duit, saya pergi sini.
You tengok patient yang seorang ni very talkative. Apa ni? Bipolar. Okay, ini skizofrenia yang pakai baju hijau ni. Sebenarnya, kalau kita tengok apa dia punya facial expression, dia nampak macam robot kan, tapi dia punya cognitive intact, dia boleh function. So sometimes bila kita test tu,
Cuba nyanyi.
dekat dia boleh nyanyi.
Biarlah wajah kekasih hati. Aku masih di sini.
Okay. So after dah warm up dan sebagainya, then group head of the yang conduct group tu kena brief outline of the session.
So kita langsung dia kalau kena suka buku Okay, Wan akan dia beri. So yang Cik Wan Saidi, dia akan jadi bekerja dekat perpustakaan awam. Macam penjaga kat lah. Macam ni, library ni dia punya, dia kerja sini. Macam ni, tahu tak kerja dia macam mana? Kena jaga lah. Macam kalau ada orang datang, kena jaga kebersihan dia. Kalau orang buat sempah ke, tegur. Lepas tu kalau simpan buku tak betul ke, jangan buat gitu. Cakap kalau ada bising, suruh senyap sebab ada orang lain dah baca buku ke, macam tu lah Okay. Raya, jadi macam orang awam lah. Jadi orang biasa datang library nak baca buku, nak pinjam buku. Tapi dekat sini, Raya buat bising. Jadi macam buat bising lah. Buatlah menyanyi ke apa-apa, tak kisahlah. Saya kan bising, baca buku tapi duduk kat situ, lepas tu buat bising. Boleh? Okay, untuk Cik Abdul jadi orang awam juga, orang awam yang dua. Sama juga tapi buat bilik ilmu sepah. Library ilmu sepah. Okay, nanti saya akan bila Cik Wan tadi tengok ada buat bising, ada buat sepah tu, Cik Wan tadi kenalah tegur. Boleh tak? Tegur dengan betul lah. Saya tak tahu saya kena buat apa tadi. Tegur kalau buat bising, buat bising. Terpaksa tu. Jadi satu kena buat apa? Kan? Pinjam buku. Pinjam buku.
Kena buat sepah.
Buat sepah. Macam buku tapi sepah-sepah gitu tak letak tempat betul. Okay, kalau sejuk sana adalah rak buku. Sini tu. Nampak tak kat
Okay semua. Macam mana pendapat you all dengan 3 cases ni? Hello? Ada tak semua kat sini? Kita ada 3 cases tu. Kes yang pertama bipolar. Kes yang kedua skizofrenia. Kes yang ketiga yang perempuan pakai baju putih tu depression. So kalau terapis dah bagi explanation, the next step what you going to do? Anyone? Hello?
Activity.
So next step you kena recall dia balik lah. Kan? Recall, dia faham tak instruction you? Kan? Tadi you nampak patient yang perempuan pakai baju putih tu lebih dah pun lost kan? Yang lelaki dua tu, yang hijau, yang pakai baju hijau dengan pakai baju purple tu, dia punya cognitive quite high. Dia bukan low functioning. So yang putih, baju putih tu, you nampak dia macam lost kan. That's why student tu, dia try to recall balik. Macam mana dia faham ke tidak. So whenever you conduct activity with patient, sometimes ada patient yang ada issue of low functioning, dia punya cognitive low functioning. That's why we need to recall back supaya dia faham ke tidak. Kalau dia tak faham, dia susah nak tangkap dia punya instruction. Then the activity, kalau you buat activity in a group, you're not going to benefit to others also. So this is the process lah. I tunjuk kat you dengan real patient and student conduct dekat Hospital Permai. So tapi benda tu belum, saya tak dapat rakam sampai habis sebab saya kena involve dalam aktiviti tersebut. So kalau you guna Goal 7 punya proses, at the end you kena recap balik lah. Recap balik dia punya proses tu. Dia punya proses ni ni dia at the end apa ni this one application the application need to understand how has been learned apply on life. So dalam at the end tu you kena apa ni make them understand how has been learned and apply their own lives. Itu penting. Then summary at the end tu kita kena buat ni lah summary, and then you should thanks always end by thanking member for participating and sharing their own positive feedback, and then plans for next session, and then reminded application as a final note. So apply the thing at their own lives untuk dia orang buat apa yang benda yang positive behavior. So in terms of group, when talk about group, there is a leadership skills. So what is it is very important that when you conduct in group, there is a leadership skills. So what is leadership? The process of influencing group activities toward goal achievement. This from Shaw 1981. So when you conduct group, there must be a leadership skills. So when talk about leadership, ideal leadership style changes to meet varying needs and circumstances. So you must have ideal leadership style. Changes to meet. So you have to change your leadership style according to the needs and the circumstances, the situations. So Mosey in 1986 suggested a multi-level approach to leadership of occupational therapy process. So there is 5 developmental process for assisting clients in learning group interaction. I will highlight to you all what are the multi-level approach as a leadership. And then Danaho validated Mosey's developmental group theory with children's group. So Mosey 1986, this is from decades, bertahun dah dia buat kajian, dia identify when we conduct group activity, there is a developmental developmental groups, 5 developmental groups for assisting clients. And then Danaho also have been validated, Mosey's punya developmental group theory with children's group. So what are the leadership punya developmental? This is the thing. So Mosey developmental group leadership. So when talk about group level, this one more on parallel directive leadership. So directive leadership is that as an OT, what are your role there? Occupational therapy leader role is to provide tasks, structure, and emotional and social support members. This is more on directive, they call it directive or parallel leadership. This is more structured. When you come out with the group exercise, painting, or creative tasks, or simple crafts, so this is called directive leadership. So you come out with OT rule there is they do this activity very structured. Dia ada dia punya task tu very structured. This called directive. This is a direct leadership. So kalau you buat group exercise, patient have to follow. Patient have to follow your leadership. This one more on directive leadership. So there's another group level, they call it project associative, which is modified directive leadership. So dalam group level ni, project associative group level ni, OT provide some choices of tasks, encourage member interaction around tasks, issues and awareness of others. Leadership continues to provide support. So when you do this leadership punya your OT role dalam group ni, so you provide some choice of tasks, encourage member interaction. So this is more on structured learning groups. Allen's level 3 to 4. For example, craft groups. Craft group, activity craft group ni. For example, you buat apa? Craft group yang melibatkan interaction. Di mana members have to do interaction with others and aware other members' contributions. So this is called project associative modified directive leadership. For example, activity craft yang perlukan contribution every members. So task ni, you bagi task ni pada group ni, pada individu ni bagian ni. So they call it projective associative, which is modified directive leadership. Then another group level, they call it basic cooperative facilitative leadership. Members choose tasks, occupational task facilitate interaction, and as a member meeting one another social and emotional needs. It's more on task-oriented groups, insight-oriented verbal groups, or self-exploration and communication focus. This dalam OT role, you bagi members dalam group tu, katakan klien you, patient choose task, what task they want to do. You cuma sebagai OT, you cuma facilitate bila nak bertemu, sediakan perjumpaan bila, and then bagi sokongan moral, bagi psychological support. So this more they call it basic cooperative facilitative leadership. So activities that task-oriented group, insight-oriented verbal groups of self-exploration and communication focus. This is the example of the activity. They call it. So, you sebagai OT, you bagi members untuk fikir apa yang patut dilakukan. Katakan dia nak pergi piknik. Katakan members kita orang nak pergi outing. Katakan outing di mana? Dia kan nak pergi melawat zoo negara. Kan? Contohnya, you sebagai terapis kena sediakan transport, bila nak bertolak, kena buat arrangement, dan juga bagi semangat diorang. Kalau diorang rasa macam malas, no, you support diorang, boleh, benda ni boleh buat. Okay, there's another group level, they call it supportive cooperative advisory leadership. So this, as an OT, you play your role as what? Relationship and socialization take precedence over task and accomplishment. Members provide social emotional support for each other. Occupational therapy acts as an advisor, provide resource as needed, and assist with problem solving or conflict resolution. This supportive cooperative or advisory leadership lebih kepada grup yang dah established lah. Grup yang dah boleh berada dalam, dah balik, katakan dah balik dalam komuniti, dia dah independent. For example, you want they want to celebrate birthday party. So you sebagai advisory, okay, you nak buat party, jemput lah jemput kawan-kawan you, grup yang lain datang, ataupun dibuat di mana, venue mana. Kita sebagai advisor, they call it. Tapi grup patient ni yang dah independent, dah balik ke komuniti, biasanya lah. So you therapy acts as an advisor and provide resource. This one, another one, participatory leadership, mature. They call it mature. Mozi cakap is a group level mature. Members self-lead. Occupational therapy participate as a co-equal member. Uses modeling, therapeutic self-disclosure, and social learning to influence outcome. Fundraising events, self-help groups. This is more on advanced level, yang mana patient ni dah sampai satu level, dia dah boleh lead dah. Patient ni dia dah contoh, saya bagi contoh macam kes drug addict kan. Drug addict, bila dia dah taubat, dia dah balik ke komuniti, dia berjaya, katakan dia dah berjaya jadi independent, dia jadi tauke, katakan kedai dan sebagainya. So dia lead, katakan dia nak buat program support kepada group member yang dah keluar daripada pusat Sinar Harapan, keluar daripada pusat serenti. You sebagai OT, you participate as co-equal member, sebab dia dah, patient ni dah, klien ni dah lead, become a leader dah. You only become a co-equal member. Therapeutic self-disclosure and social learning to influence outcome. So you help him in terms of fundraising event, self-help groups. You cadangkan dia tubuhkan group untuk membantu yang lain. So this is called Moses Developmental Group Leadership. So in OT, there is 3 style macam Moses tadi. It can be directive, facilitative, and advisory leadership. So, directive leadership is for clients who have low cognitive level or lack of motivation. So, they need a direction. So, you as an OT, you need to direct, structured. Your activity must be direct and structured, because they have low quality level and lacking motivation. So focus on education, practicing skills. So psychoeducation, one of the things that you can come up with the activity. For example, sensory integrated approach, continually grade and adapt according to member response. Sensory integrated approach can be done because you continually grade and adapt according to member response. So kadang-kadang member tak respon kan, dia ada issue of sensory. So you kena bagi the input sensory yang really high senses punya integration. So then after that they improve. So you slowly reduce dia punya simulation. So for this type of patient, they need direction. So this OT play role as directive leadership. And then there is also called facilitative leadership. Facilitative leadership. This is a democratic approach. You facilitate. So sometimes in this leadership, client make a choice. So you use variety of techniques to enable participation. So they involve together to make a choice. Probably you discuss, probably you voting, consensus dan sebagainya. And then this group facilitative leadership, you encourage communication, self-disclosure, and reinforce positive group problem solving and social learning. And then clients have the capacity for reasoning. So for this facilitative leadership, your client have the capacity for reasoning. Goal is to develop self-awareness and insight. Shared leadership allow members to take on leadership responsibility. Some you give the members to lead, to take on responsibilities. Known as group-centered approach to leadership. It's been known as group-centered approach to leadership. They call it facilitative leadership, where your client have the capacity for reasoning. Goal is to develop self-awareness and insight. They call it facilitative leadership. Then as SMRT also, you can play as advisory leadership. Mature and highly motivated groups. Group ini dah matured dah. The independence in making decision and all that. And they are highly motivated groups. So probably this patient already go back to their community. They come up with a group. In group members, they are the group members. They are the WhatsApp group. So it intervenes only when member run into difficulty in solving a problem, require additional resource or expertise, or need assistance with conflict resolution. So you only involved in advisory where members run into difficulty in solving problem. So for example, in group, they have an issue, they are able to solve. So you intervene and then you give your expert opinion. And then probably this group is at the community mental health groups. So they already discharged from the ward, and then they have a group of community and mental health. So this goal involve learning social skill, problem solving skill, and anticipate consequences. So you act as a therapist, you able to anticipate consequences, kan? So when they do this activity, when they do this approach, so you able to advise what are the consequences, what are the things will affect their group when they do this approach, this activity. So you become advisory leadership. So this is when talk about leadership, the continuum or continuity of leadership, you should know that all this leadership style in terms of factors that influence. One is the leadership style, the directive leadership. The thing that we discussed is about directive leadership, facilitative leadership, and also advisory leadership. So what are these factors that influence of these three leadership? So in terms of power factors, in terms of group maturity, in terms of client factors, in terms of the task force, in terms of theoretical factors, in terms of group factors, group focus. So, for example, like adversary leadership. So, in terms of power factors, you least influence. You're not much giving influence to them because you only do the advisory leadership. You intervene on as needed only because the group is already matured and the client factors is high quality level, highly motivated. The task factors is about socialization oriented, problem oriented. Theoretical factors, developmental and system oriented approach. Group focus, problem solving, wellness or prevention goals. So this is what as an OT, when talk about leadership in terms of the OT role, in terms of leadership, this, for example, like directive leadership is more on you handle it at the ward and at your department. With the client have a problem of low cognition level and then they have sensory motor cognitive disabilities, and then they require task achievement and skill training, and they have low little connection between members. They don't know each other. They tak ada interaction with them. But when your patient progress, you can become a facilitative leadership. This is for clients who have medium cognitive level, capable of some reasoning and insight. So these are the three types. When talk about leadership, OT leadership continuum, it can be directive, facilitative, and also advisory leadership based on these power factors, group maturity, client factors, task factors, theoretical factors, and group focus. Group focus is what group you want to do with a group. So in terms of when you conduct a group, you need to facilitate the group. So in terms of group facilitation, you must facilitate interaction, directing, and communication empathy. So when you doing conduct a group intervention in group, you need to facilitate interaction. You need to initiate interaction. When you conduct in group, you need to let them, each member of the group, give opinion, idea, respond to each other. So you need to initiate them, giving opinion, giving idea, and then respond to each other. Avoid pattern communicating through leader only. So this is what you don't want to do. They communicate through you only, through OT only. This is you want to avoid very much. This pattern, if you do in a group, they call it non-therapeutic group intervention. So you need to avoid pattern communicating through leader only. Then can defer to another member. So can defer to another member, it means that some of the members are unable to give opinion, you can defer to another member. Look for ways to involve less verbal members. So some of the group members, they have less verbal communication. So you need to look for ways to involve those who have less verbal communication. For example, you prompt dia, you recall dia, you initiate dia. Okay? Make sure members have opportunity to answer before moving on. So some of them are very slow, very difficult to catch up. and dia punya cognitive process dia very slow. You must make sure you give opportunity for the member to answer before moving on to others. So, directing. Some of the members deviate from group task. The discussion, the debate, the punya activity deviate. So, you need to redirect immediately. And then set limits on inappropriate behavior. Set limits dalam group tu, you need to set limit. Some of the group members, dia when they talk a bit sarcastic, kan? Dia punya tone, voice dia tu very high, and then some of the group members tu, when they flush, dia cakap dengan nada tinggi, dia lepaskan semua, and then dia when they talking cerita tentang salah seorang tu berulang kali. Sometimes benda yang kecil dia besar-besarkan, dan dia cerita berulang-ulang kali, then group members fed up. So you have to set limits on inappropriate behavior. Some of them bila dengar when members express dia punya feeling, dia ketawa. Kan? Actually members should listen because this dia punya experience. They want to express dia punya feelings. Dia ketawa, dia ajuk dan sebagainya. So you have to set limits. When conducting in a group, you as a therapist, you set limits on inappropriate behavior. And then communicating empathy. Needs a broad feeling vocabulary to convey an accurate understanding of how clients feel. Saya faham apa cakap dia, saya faham. What this is empathy. Empathy. You must have vocabulary, maksudnya you kena ada ayat-ayat lah, ayat-ayat yang to convey great understanding how client feel. Saya setuju, saya faham, saya sedang mendengar, kan? I'm listening. Dia punya vocab, you kena sediakan vocab you untuk convey an accurate understanding of how client feel without you sampai you simpan perasaan you balik rumah, you tak boleh tidur. No, you must have empathy. You communicating empathy. And then the vocab tu, cara you bercakap tu, macam mana? Then you acknowledge the client's feeling with non-judgmental acceptance. So when client express dia punya feeling, you tak boleh buat tak boleh judge dia. Is this what they are feeling? You must acknowledge the client's feeling. Encourage for further disclosure. Dia baru nak disclose dia punya perasaan, dia cakap berhenti sini cukup. Patutnya dia boleh release, dia boleh disclose kan. Dia punya feeling, dia punya perasaan, dia punya anxiety, dia punya worries, dia punya stress, tension kan. Sampai terkeluar semua lah. Give other members permission to verbalize their own emotion. So you give other member permission to verbalize their own emotion. Jangan pandu jangan when they talk they want to verbalize their own emotion. Other members nak cakap. So you stop the members to let the members to verbalize their own emotion. And then one very important thing is to build trust among members. So members kena trust whatever discussed in the group. The other members must trust members. So you have to build up. This is the thing that you must have when you conduct in a group. So YALOMs, YALOM therapeutic factor derive many research evidence. Kessler et al. 1910 group cohesiveness, hope, and interpersonal learning were mostly highly valued within occupational therapy process. So YALOM said they have come up with therapeutic factors when conduct in group, and then they have YALOM banyak research. Bertahun dah dia buat research. When do activity in group, there is a lot of therapeutic factors. And also Kessler highlight that when you conduct in group, dia punya value tu in term group cohesiveness, hope, and interpersonal learning. Sesama dia when you do conduct activity in group, interpersonal learning, maksudnya dia belajar daripada kawan dan members dalam group tu, benda very highly valued in OT process. This is the thing that YALOM therapeutic factors of groups. What are the therapeutic factors? Installation of hope. Even in anticipation of group membership, clients are inclined to believe that change is possible through the group experience. Maksudnya, dia ada harapan. The group member have hope. Dia believe, client believe, dia ada harapan. When they listen to the group experience. Universality, through group sharing and interaction, members learn, often with great relief, and they are not alone. So, concept therapeutic of universality. When you do a group interaction, group activity, group discussion, kalau member learns, member dengar group sharing, group other people sharing, they often with great relief. Dia rasa relief lah. And then they are not alone. So kita dalam dalam bila biasanya kita orang Melayu ni nasib baik kan. Maksudnya kalau ada group share dia punya experience, maksudnya benda yang buruk tu bukan dia saja yang experience, tapi orang lain pun experience. They are not alone. Altruism, which coaching and modeling from a skilled leader, members become aware that they have much to offer each other, and that offering help to others can benefit themselves as well. So as a therapist, if you are coaching and modeling, you are very skilled in coaching and modeling. So members become aware that they have much to offer each other, and that offering help to others can benefit themselves as well. So if you, as a therapist, you are very good in coaching and modeling, you are very skillful, members become aware that they have much to offer each other. And then therapeutic factor, imparting information. Group offers a practical means of educating those with similar issues, but often the most useful information comes from group members sharing advice, ideas, and solutions. So therapeutic factor, information. Information when you in groups, you ada isu yang sama dengan group members tu. The information from group members tu is very useful. Dia dapat advice, dapat idea, dapat solution untuk dia punya isu. They call it imparting information. Information from members is very important. Corrective recapitulation of the primary family group. So maladaptive learning from one own imperfect family can be openly explored and modified within an emotionally safe group environment, though altered perception of reality. Maksudnya pengalaman pengalaman daripada family kan dapat diketahui oleh grup yang lain, dan juga sebagai safe environment, pengalaman. Contoh, kalau ada grup cerita tentang pengalaman scammer, scammer. Sekarang banyak kes scammer kan. Kalau grup tu dapat share dalam WhatsApp group, orang lain pun dapat pengalaman. Oh, I also been called. Nasib baik masa dalam group discussion WhatsApp ni, you highlight this. Kalau tidak, I kena tipu. Contohnya. Development of socializing techniques. According to Banduras 1977, social learning theory, people learn appropriate social behavior through observation of others. Group offer multiple opportunity to do this. So it can be a development of social technique. So we learn through others. Through others. They call it development of social techniques. Imitative behavior. When group members observe that certain behavior have positive consequence of others, they tend to imitate those behaviors. So when you look group members you behave, dia pun nak ikut. Sebab dia tahu bila dia behave, akibatnya positif. So dia imitate those behaviors. Interpersonal learning. Group offers multiple opportunities for giving and receiving feedback from others. Through feedback, members develop a more accurate self-perception and reality orientation. So they call it interpersonal learning. Group have multiple opportunities for giving, receiving feedback from others. So they call it group cohesiveness. The first state in group, members accept and support one another and freely self-disclose. Catharsis, emotional expression of previously hidden emotional changes. Change issues or experience can in itself have a healing effect. So they call it catharsis. Catharsis. Dia ada healing effect. Bila kita express kita punya emotion yang terpendam dalaman, kita express kita emotional kita punya experience, dia indirectly have a healing effect. They call it catharsis. Existential factors. Many spiritual concerns such as the meanings of one life, the acceptance of anxiety as a part of living, and awareness of one own mortality can be clarified through group interaction. So, dipanggil spiritual concern as the meanings of one life, the acceptance of anxiety as a part of living, and awareness of one own mortality can be clarified through group interaction. They call it existential factors. So kalau you tak faham apa why you been born, kan, apa sebab dilahirkan, apa sebab jadi macam gini, kenapa kita harus mati. They call it kalau group interaction ni dapat bagi dia orang semangat lah untuk teruskan hidup. Kadang-kadang ada orang dia macam tak tenang jiwa dia. Dia tak tahu apa makna hidup pada diri dia ni. Tapi dengan group interaction ni, dia dapat awareness, dapat accept anxiety, kenapa dia harus hidup, kenapa dia kena, setengah-setengah orang memang dia ada jiwa dia kosong, jiwa dia kosong, dia tak tahu apa makna kehidupan dia ni. So with the group interaction, you aware, dapat membantu dia untuk aware dia punya kehidupan. Ini YALOMS, YALOM Therapeutic Factors of Group. So many of therapeutic factors. Kalau you talking about therapeutic factors, banyak. Tentang group punya when you done in groups. Another thing we have to consider group norms. Group norms. So when talk about group norms, is a customary ways of doing things within a group. So group norm ni norma group, group norms. It's a customary ways of doing things within a group. So expectation for participation, the importance of confidentiality and respect to each other. So you kena norma group ni yang bagus. You expect participation. Sebab each member kena participate, and kerahsiaan, confidentiality and respect to each other. Discourage social norm which inhibit free expression. So you tak boleh tak boleh halang dia untuk buat expression, free expression. You tak boleh discourage. So dia kena, kalau dia nak luar perasaan dia boleh dalam group norms ni. You tak boleh discourage. Kalau you tak suka dengan seseorang tu ataupun dia tak setuju, dia kena bagi tahulah. Dia tak boleh discourage dia. Dia tak boleh simpan perasaan. Kalau dia nak luahkan. Preserving conventions of respect and genuineness. Maksudnya kalau you kena respect, you kena genuineness ni, dia kena you tak ada camouflage lah. Maksudnya you jujur, jujur. Kalau you luahkan, you tegur, you jujur. Bukan camouflage, maksudnya dia pura-pura tak mau. Can be therapeutic and non-therapeutic. Speak only to leader. Kalau it can be therapeutic and also it can be non-therapeutic. Kalau group members only speak to the leader. Therapeutic norm lead to group cohesiveness. Non-therapeutic lead to various group development. So kalau members tu hanya berinteraksi, luahkan perasaan pada OT saja, you ada problem. They call it non-therapeutic. It lead to various group development. So you punya group tak boleh develop lah. Tak boleh develop. They call it non-therapeutic because they speak only to the leader. So these are therapeutic norms of occupational therapy process. For example, open self-disclosure, group interaction, focus on process, giving feedback to others, receiving feedback thoughtfully, verbalizing concrete application of group learning for each member. So this is the example. For example, open self-disclosure, group norm, sharing person drawing with the group, including both positive and negative aspect of self-identity. This is open. Group interaction, member ask each other question about their drawings and differ empathy and response. Focus on process, open discussion of feeling response to the task after sharing, including what was hardest and easier and why. Focus on process. Giving feedback to others. Member discuss what they like and do not like about each other's behavior. stating this slide constructively. Maksudnya dia bagi feedback tapi dengan cara baiklah, konstruktif. Receiving feedback thoughtfully, the therapist using empathy to help members explore both positive and negative response to feedback. Verbalizing concrete application of group learning for each member. Members use an ideal person drawing to define qualities they admire in a friend. They agree that each will identify and have to have a conversation with one such friend during the coming week. So, this is the thing. Therapeutic norm. So, in terms of evidence, in terms of when they talk about group, client-centered group, psychoeducation can also known as group, client-centered group process, psychoeducation. So in Malaysia, psychoeducation package is available which covers aspect of illness, treatment and side effect of medication, the role of the family, maintaining wellness and managing crisis. So level 9, it aims to change the behavior and attitude to the patient. So psychoeducation provide information and education regarding their illness to people with schizophrenia. Provide accurate information is important because of the long-term nature of the illness. Psychoeducation includes patient teaching, patient instruction, or patient education, and involve any provision to people with schizophrenia and their carers information, support and the management strategies used in the treatment of schizophrenia. So psychoeducation should also include information and strategies to combat stigma and discrimination. So psychoeducation, they consider is level 9. So in Cochrane systematic review of 10 randomized control trial, it was noted that there was improvement in compliance with medication and reduction in relapse rates in those offered psychoeducation versus standard care. And psychoeducational intervention also significantly lowered the readmission rates. Dia dah ada systematic review of RCT. Dia dah buat RCT, ada 10 RCT. Orang yang buat psychoeducation group have improvement, comply with medication and reduction in relapse rates. Compare psychoeducation versus standard care. So psychoeducation intervention also significantly lowered the readmission. So patient yang buat psychoeducation ni, dia punya readmission rate, maksudnya dia keluar masuk hospital rendah lah, tak masuk hospital bila dah buat psychoeducation in term of bagi ubat, reduction in relapse rates. So level 1 is quite high. Kalau you buat psychoeducation with group of schizophrenia, ada dia punya level is high, evidence based. Use of psychoeducation as part of an overall package of multimodal psychosocial intervention should be offered in the treatment, grade A. Health professionals should provide information and treatment to people with schizophrenia and their carers. This should be considered an essential part of the routine treatment and management of schizophrenia, grade C. So psychoeducation, dia tambahan dengan rawatan dan sebagainya. Dia package. Dia tak boleh satu je. Kalau dia combine dengan drug ke, dengan activities multimodal ni, multimodal psychosocial intervention. Multimodal psychosocial intervention can be social skill training, domestic activity training, community participation ke, together with psychoeducation, they consider grade A. So kalau setakat bagi information dengan carers, kan? Health professional ni bagi information and treatment to people schizophrenia and their carers, grade C. You kena involve psychoeducation with psychosocial intervention. And then one of the client-centered group can be psychotherapy. Different type of psychotherapy in the treatment and management of schizophrenia have common factors such as time spent talking, client focus, and supportive and caring relationship between therapist and patient in a broader therapeutic context, level 1. So counseling and supportive psychotherapy are psychological interventions which are facilitative, non-directive, and or relationship focused with the content of session largely based on clients' need. So level 1, kalau involve counseling and psychotherapy. This one from Cochrane, a 21 study note there was no difference between supportive therapy and standard care. The main disadvantage of the review was the lack of quality studies. More clinical trials on supportive therapy done by well-trained personnel are clearly indicated. Counseling and supportive psychotherapy may be offered as part of multimodal psychosocial intervention. So you kena involve counseling and psychotherapy as a part of. So tapi dia grade C. Counseling and supportive psychotherapy are not recommended as a sole intervention in the routine care of schizophrenia. Maksudnya kalau hanya counseling supportive therapy, kalau tak recommend lah. Ada evidence dia tak bagus lah kalau setakat counseling and supportive therapy intervention dia tak memberi benefit pada schizophrenia. Okey. Okay, kelas ada apa nak tanya, nak bincang tentang topik ni? Harap you all ada kat sana ya.
Ada, Doktor.
Okey. Najia ada pertanyaan, Najia?
Ada, Doktor.
Okey.
Doktor, nanti slide boleh dapat dekat future ke?
Ada, boleh. Nanti saya bagi saya upload
Okay, Doktor, terima kasih.
So, this lecture talking about group client-centered group. Dia banyak proses, dia ada proses, dia ada leadership dan sebagainya. So you all kena faham dari segi leadership tu. Kalau OT bukan setakat buat dia conduct activity, tapi you kena faham proses dia, dia punya terapeutik dia dan dia punya level dia. Sebagai OT, as a leader, what are your punya participation? Kan? Is it directive ataupun advisor? So you kena faham konsep leadership SNOT. Okey, ada soalan lagi? Semua senyap je. Macam mana saya tunjuk video tu? Dapat gambaran tak? Siapa yang belum pernah praktikal? Kan? So pesakit you.
Dapat, Doktor.
Dapat. So pesakit you berbagai jenis. Even katakan dia schizophrenia, tapi you need to understand not only dia punya condition, but also dia punya cognitive function dia punya interaction dan sebagainya. Barulah you faham you punya klien tu. Macam mana you nak approach dan sebagainya. So patient ni bagi saya very interesting. Kalau you involved dengan psychiatry ni, very interesting. And the only thing is that you shouldn't stop studying or reading, gain knowledge. Sometimes kadang kalau kita dah go to clinical, especially in psychiatric, kita dah tak develop diri kita. Kita tak membaca, kita tak go through evidence, go through different technique, you tak involved dalam research, you lost. You buat benda yang sama aje. Bila you buat benda yang sama, tak ada improvement, you demotivate yourself. So in psychiatry, kadang patient tu you tengok, sama aje patient ni, tak ada perubahan. Sebab you tak explore, you tak membaca, you tak gain knowledge, more knowledge. You tak try new things. You should explore. Kalau dekat sakit ni, explore. Kadang patient ni, even dah sampai ke community, dah independence. At one time, dia default balik. Dia come back to you. Inilah you akan experience kalau kerja kat psychiatric ni. Dulu macam saya dah treat patient ni daripada ward sampai dia boleh kat halfway house, kemudian dia dah sewa rumah, independent, dapat gaji. Selepas 2 tahun saya tengok dia berjalan tepi jalan, bawa guni. Wah, frustrated juga kan. They have done a lot to the patient. Saya rasa dia default balik. And then bring him back to the institution, buat balik. And this is the cycle, the process that you're going to go through kalau you kerja sebagai occupational therapist dekat psychiatric. Actually, it's a tough job dekat psychiatric. You nak convince community, industry to accept them. And if they understand patient punya situation, they take it easy lah. Dia faham. Dia boleh cooperate with you all. Okay, ada soalan tentang client centered group ni? Husna? Mana Husna? Tak nampak muka Husna ni.
Saya.
Alah, video tu gambar. Husna, ada soalan Husna? Husna ni matrik kan? Husna Abdul Rahman.
Saya diploma. Saya diploma.
Husna ada experience dekat secretary?
Untuk group
Group activity.
Oh, ada. Selalunya psychiatry memang buat group.
You buat apa Husna?
Kalau group tu, selalunya kita orang main table games macam main Jenga. Main Jenga tu, every time dia ambil satu Jenga tu, kita macam suruh patient lain tanya patient lain soalan.
Jadi macam poison box lah
Poison box.
So dalam poison box tu apa soalan yang yang dibuat? Apa soalan dia biasanya?
Biasanya macam mula-mula tu kalau nak introduce diri tu pun main benda tu boleh macam kalau pick soalan nanti patient tu yang tanya patient lain macam kadang-kadang tanya soalan simple-simple je. Tinggal mana semua.
Dalam depend on the patient punya whether dia new admission ke kan. Kalau dia dia ada issue of disoriented, boleh buat aktiviti yang simple ni tu kan.
Betul.
Dia kadang-kadang dia bau admitted, dia pun disoriented, dia pun nak tidur dia sebab makan ubat tu kan. Kadang kita buat aktiviti nak just want to alert dia, bagi dia orientation dia, improve dia punya orientation, dia punya alertness, insight dia, dan sebagainya. Good, Husna. Alright. Yang lain, ada yang nak share? Okey. Kalau tak ada nak share, saya tamatkan di sini. Lecture saya tentang client centered group ni. Kita jumpa lagi dalam sesi lab ya. So this week is the last week lah kan. So next week you ada semester break kan? Ya? Semester break.
Betul.
Siapa yang cakap tu? Betul. Ras ke?
Adib.
Okey.
Sir.
Ya.
Sir.
Okey, Diana.
Nak tanya boleh?
Ya, Diana. Tanya lah.
Pasal macam work rehab kan, macam return to work. Kalau psychiatric ni macam mana kita nak psycho-educate dia? Sebab dia kan selalu default kan, tapi dia nak kerja, dia nak duit. Tapi itulah susah nak educate orang yang macam tu lah. So macam mana sir? Ikut pengalaman sir macam mana?
Okey. Dia ada evidence mengatakan bahawa apa dia panggil, kita bila tempatkan dia orang bekerja dengan komuniti ni, dia punya kejayaan lebih baik daripada kita simpan dia dalam hospital, buat shelter workshop dan sebagainya. Ada evidence. Maksudnya dia interact dengan komuniti, you buat job coach kat diorang, you follow up dengan diorang dekat tempat kerja, dia punya sukses lebih baik daripada you train dia kat shelter workshop. Itu ada evidence. Job coach tu panggil. So kadang patient ni, kalau kita lama sangat dia buat kat bengkel kan, ataupun shelter workshop ni, under pemantauan, kadang-kadang dia dah complacent kat situ. Dia dah institutionalized kat situ. Dia tak nak dah keluar. Pasal apa? Kalau kerja di hospital, di ward ke, di kantin kat dalam ward, dia dah, apa dia panggil? Dia dah dependent. Maksudnya orang dia dah jaga dia. Apa yang dia susah? Tempat tidur ada, makan orang sediakan, kan? Berbanding kalau dia di luar dia kena betul-betul independent, dan sebagainya. So, pengalaman saya buat halfway house. Halfway house ni, dia tak duduk dalam hospital. Dia duduk, kita carikan rumah tu, yang mana kita still monitor lagi, tapi dia masak sendiri. Kita lebih kepada advisory, dan kita monitor dia kalau dia ada isu dengan employer, dengan dia punya transport dan sebagainya. Saya buat dekat situ, halfway house. Maksud dia bukan duduk di hospital tapi di luar. Lepas tu dia pergi kerja. Daripada halfway house tu lah, rumah tu. So rumah tu masih lagi hospital tanggung. Cuma dia kena masak sendiri. Dan bila dia dah ada duit poket, dia dah boleh apa dia panggil? Independent, dia boleh sewa rumah sendiri, dan dia akan keluar daripada situ lah. Itu cara terbaik lah. Benda yang terbaik sekali, jangan lama sangat di institution, di hospital ni. Kalau lama sangat dia become institutionalized, dia become dependent kepada hospital. Sarah, siapa yang tanya dia? Halo?
Saya sir.
Diana. Okey, Diana. Itulah pendapat saya, pengalaman saya, Diana. Kalau boleh, bila dia dah stable, dah boleh ada insight, dia boleh independent IDL, cepat-cepat bawa dia, cepat-cepat carikan dia, buat job coach kat dia. Job coach, biar dia kerja di luar. And then patient, itu saya cakap patient mental ni, dia punya relapse dia tu, default dia tu, almost 50% lah, 60%. Dia akan balik semula. This normal lah, cycle dia. Macam ibarat bulan terang, bulan mengambang, dia jadi balik. Tapi normal lah benda tu. Kalau kita kerja kat hospital psikiatrik, benda, dia dah balik semula. Kita go through back square one, improve dia punya motivation, dia punya insight, dia punya behavior, semua kita kena improvekan dan go back balik. Macam itulah. Yang penting kalau dia ada family support lagi bagus. Family, community support, itu lebih baik. Diana? Alright, yang lain?
Doktor.
Ya, siapa ni?
Atira.
Atira, okey Atira.
Kalau yang patient ada relapse tu, lepas tu nanti dia pergi cari terapis yang sama ke dia pergi kat terapis lain?
Depends lah, depends. Kadang dia masuk ward mana kan? Kadang dia masuk, kadang kalau you terapis yang in charge ward, kadang you jumpa dia dulu. Bila dia dah stable, then you refer dia dekat OT department. Kalau you duduk di OT department, you pun you handle dia. So you akan jumpa lah. No problem benda tu. You akan jumpa dia balik. Okay. Alright. Kalau tak ada apa-apa, saya jumpa you untuk lecture, not next week, another next after next week. Alright semua, kita jumpa di lab ya. Okay.
Thank you doktor. Alright sir, thank you.
Thank you doktor.
Thank you doktor.
Thank you doktor.